Trump called himself the No New Wars president, and he wanted to be remembered as a peacemaker and unifier, measuring success not only by the wars that we've ended, but by the wars that we have never gotten into, and that's a partial quote. So on its face, striking Iran seems to clash with that branding, and that's what a lot of people are saying. Critics are not wrong to point out the tension. If you campaign as the peace president, utilizing military force seems to be a contradiction. But the stronger, more realistic version of Trump's message wasn't never use force, it was peace through strength, a very classic adage that many politicians have used in the past and Trump has been able to modernize and use quite effectively. But there was another claim that he made that many are overlooking, and that was to prevent a wider global war, or World War III.
And I will prevent World War III from happening.
Now, beyond the fact that nuclear weapons are the only thing that has ever kept this world from slipping into World War III, there are three tension points on the planet that we could look at that could actually push us into World War III. And that would be a direct open conflict between Russia and NATO. That would be a direct open conflict on the Korean Peninsula. And that, of course, would be China conducting an attack on Taiwan for the purposes of invasion. Now, a more global strategic reading of what is happening right now is that the Trump administration doesn't view Iran as an isolated problem, but as one node to a wider strategic network tied to China and their energy inputs. And the White House has continued to frame Trump's foreign policy in exactly these terms: deterrence, strength, and preventing larger conflict through preemption and pressure. Try to say that 5 times fast. As much as I continue to say that we are nowhere near World War III, and the evidence continues to bear that out, there is an issue of concern that we must address. For 20 years now, China has been very upfront about their one China policy, and that includes Taiwan. And while they would like to bring Taiwan back into the fold of China through peace, they are also preparing for war to take it by force. And because Taiwan is the only place on the planet that creates the type of computer chips they do that go into everyday life, shutting that capability down, that node to the global economy, would bring the entire world to its knees. And like I said before, part of Trump's global strategy is deterrence. Well, in order to deter China from making a bad decision, we have to make the decision-making calculus for President Xi as difficult as possible. And so we are going to affect them on every measure that we can. And China is a major buyer of oil. They get approximately 5% of their oil from Venezuela, which we now control, and they got an additional 15% of their oil from Iran. Approximately 20%, or 1/5 of their entire oil intake, is from these two countries, of which we are soon to control or influence greatly. And so if Trump's objective in his New World Order is to prevent a great power war from occurring, especially over Taiwan, then weakening the adversaries' resource corridors, their proxies, their strategic depth will go greatly into affecting that outcome. And so all of this could be characterized as preventative deterrence, which goes right in line with his overarching defense strategy. And so from this perspective, restructuring Iran and Venezuela are not random Middle East or Caribbean adventures. They are part of a broader attempt to narrow China's room to maneuver before Beijing considers conditions favorable to move on Taiwan. In a bit of a twist, this could actually turn out to be favorable for China in the sense that they were always having issues with dealing with Venezuela and the IRGC, and that if we could actually normalize relations with China, they may actually be more in favor to work on cooperative arrangements to maintain what they view as a one China policy and what could be amicable for the rest of the world to thrive in the global economy. So there are two sides of a deal, the carrot and the stick, and it's best when you are able to control the levers of both sides to produce the best outcome, not only for you, but for the person you're trying to make a deal with. And in case I haven't made it abundantly clear in this video, the risk of the threat posed by China to invade Taiwan is so great that we have to treat it as a certainty, which is why we have to do the actions that you see that sometimes might not make sense in the moment. Of course, this is not the reason Trump is giving for attacking the IRGC, but that doesn't remove the fact that it fits into this larger geopolitical strategy. I am the Intel Guy. Please like, share, check out link in bio, find me on X, and follow me for more. Have a good day.